We are starting to read the hand of a 41-year-old person, and this is his hand, and we would give a reading on this particular hand. Before I start my reading, I would request you to press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update. You can get a paid palmistry reading by calling me, or you can email me your hand images. So now we straight away head to this particular hand image. I would be just talking about the important points that I see on this particular palm, and he's aged 40, 41, he said. So I just briefly tell whatever important things that I see on his palm. The first thing that I see is that he has got these backward lines over the first area. This is the pointing finger, this is the finger of Jupiter, and Jupiter is a finger of administration, religion and politics. And backward lines are considered to be good because Jupiter is a big planet, and big planet means growth and expansion in one's life. So having these backward lines makes a person basically more of growth oriented and expansionist, and these people are seeking honor. So this is the first part. The other part is that there's also a square like formation on the mount of Jupiter, which means a preservation against loss of position. So this is the second aspect. The third aspect is that the head and the lifeline both are having space in the middle. So this makes a person rash by nature, outgoing by nature. The other part is that this is basically the lifeline. Everybody basically has a lifeline, but not many people have a supporting line of life. This is also called the guardian angel line. Guardian angel line is a line of protection. It is also known as the supporting lifeline, or it is also known as the supporting lifeline. The name could be different, but basically the meaning remains the same. So this particular line is kind of a armor around this particular person. So wherever, let's assume that we find a few faults in a particular line. Let's assume that we find fault in the heart line. This is a heart line. There's a breakout here. So a breakout here basically means some kind of either emotional or it could be physical heart related issues. But having this kind of a supporting lifeline is basically the person gets protected. This protection can be come in the form of, even if the money line was, let's say money line was broken, the money line is not broken, but if it was broken, even then it is going to protect. So it is not only protecting the person's life, but it is also protecting the person's finances or any other aspect. So try to understand that this line is one of the best lines in the hand, and it covers up for any kind of flaw in the hand. And it is see, what happens is that this is the area of Mars. This is the Mars negative area. This is just the name Mars negative, and this is the area of Venus. So what happens is that Mars is a red planet. Red means anger, aggression and fire, and Venus is all the desires. It is all the energies that we have. So if this area is basically getting protected, it means like the line is starting from here. So what is happening? It is kind of the fire comes to your life. It means that protection is there, and somebody is protecting. Either somebody is there besides you to protect you, or you yourself have that got fighting spirit to basically protect other people as well. So, or your family, or wherever you are working. So it is depending upon where you target, those results basically you get. And the other important aspect on the palm is that this is basically the lifeline, and somewhere in the middle you would notice that there's a branch moving from the lifeline and pointing towards the mount of moon. This is basically moon. See, generally it is said that see, backward lines, backward branch are considered to be good. Pointing towards the finger is good, but downward branch is basically considered to be bad. It is something like loss of health or loss of wealth. Although this area that we see is basically like it is there, but at the same time protection line is also there. So this is one part of explaining this particular line, but it has got multiple meanings as well. See, this downward line could mean loss of health or loss of wealth, or it could also mean that the person might get restless. So restlessness can creep in and the desire to travel basically increases. So this could be another way of looking at the same thing. In his case, one more thing needs to be seen is that this is basically the headline, and there's another headline that is running parallel to the main headline. So although it's not starting from a very early age, it starts somewhere at the age of probably around the age of 30, 34, 35. That's when it starts. At the same time, the new line starts. There's another line from the mount of Mars. Mars is basically for anger, aggression, and fire. A line is coming and touching this particular portion of the headline. This is basically the intersection of the money and the headline. So this age is basically known as 35 years old. So few problems could have come during that particular period, but at the same time, there's a positive line as well that you can see. There's an upward kind of a line that you see pointing towards the mount of Mercury. So upward lines from any line, upward lines from even the heart line. This is the heart line. If there was an upward line, it would have been considered to be good. So upward lines from the headline at this particular age, at the age of 35, 36, that is when few things basically become much better. Although it could have been a troublesome period, because what is happening is that this is a line, a money line that is coming and ending on the lifeline. So few problems could be there. A problem line is also coming from here. So multiple problems, the money problem also and mental problems also during that particular age. But beyond that, things become basically better. So this is what is represented by these particular lines. The other money line that we see out here is pointing from the mount of Moon. This is basically the mount of Moon. It means the person benefits from public appreciation and trading activity or service industry. This is the line of power and position. And the most important area to look for is under the mount of Mercury. This is basically the mount of Mercury. If a person has got perpendicular deep lines, it is considered to be good, because what is happening is that this is the area of your communication and your technical skills. If your communication and technical skills are good, however big the problem there may be, still you are going to be able to come out of that problem because you're sharpening your skills. So this is what is considered to be an extremely good part on the hand. See, not many people have these strong lines over the mount of Mercury. People may have lines, but they may have a very weak kind of line, these kind of lines. So these weak kind of lines have got no significance. A person, even if they have these lines, it would not benefit them. So they should have something like a strong kind of a line that we see, perpendicular kind of a line that we see out here. It means skill, and the person is sharpening their skills often. So this is the other aspect. Let me just move on to the other hand images that I have, and I just try to see a few important points on this particular hand, if I'm able to. The sun line that you see, this age is let me just mark the age. This is the heart line. Beyond the heart line, under the mount of sun, this is basically the mount of sun. If there's a deep and clear line means that the person is giving huge amount of energies to their work, and the timing is that, see, the intersection of the heart line and the sun line is age 53. This is 53 and beyond. This portion is 53 and beyond. So you would notice that the line is becoming much more deeper and clearer beyond that particular area. Apart from the main sun line, there's another sun line that you see out here. So the timing, how we basically time, this is basically the headline and this is basically the heart line. If the sun was starting somewhere from here, So this intersection would be age 35 on the sunline, and this portion could be age 53. So somewhere in the middle is age 44. I'm just going to remove all these lines, then you can see much more clearly. So somewhere in the middle, the sunline, another sunline starts, and this is could be age around the age of 43, 44. That's the approximate age when another sunline is developing and it's progressing. The other part is the main, there's another line. This could be the supporting lifeline. It is a break. It is breaking somewhere at the age of beyond 44 age, so at the age of 48 or so, and a new line is developing. So these are just supporting kind of lines. In itself, the money line is perfect. It is deep and clear. It is perfect, but money line in itself doesn't tell everything. Try to understand, money line is just another line. It can't even tell everything, how much money we will be having. It's a combination of many lines together, and the shape of the palm, the size of the palm, the texture of the palm, and many more things that govern how much money we are going to be having. So in terms of money, the money line can tell only and only around 15%. So apart from money line, what do we need for money? Because this is the main question people have. So a strong Mercury line that we see out here, supporting lifeline. Supporting lifeline could also be known as the fire within us, or the spark within us. So these things are necessary to be successful. I just take a look at briefly. I would take a look at the left hand as well. You would notice that there's a V-like formation. Basically, V is not for victory out here. V is basically, it's just a formation, and this line combines it to make a money triangle. Money triangle in palmistry is considered to be good, but this is not the only line basically which might give you money. Even an upward line from the headline, the money can be seen, because I'm concentrating on the money part because this is the question every person basically has, and everybody basically wants to know about money. So I'm trying to balance the reading out, and I'm not talking about the money line, but apart from money line also you can look for money. Even this upward line, backward line on the left hand towards the Mount of Jupiter, this is for position, but with position even money comes. Then there's an upward line at somewhere at an early age, somewhere at a very early 18 or 19, and pointing towards the Mount of Mercury. So again, Mercury becomes very important. Then again, this upward line that you see pointing upwards. So these are all gains that are coming. This is age 35. This intersection I'm telling you, this is age 35, and this is another upward line. So these are basically considered to be good. So why we say money triangle is good? Because what happens is that it is pointing towards the Saturn. This is basically the money line. Money line means money. The second line is basically the Mercury line. Mercury line is basically the skills line. This line is basically the skills line and the headline. So it's a combination of money means money, and Mercury line means skills, and the headline means basically it is the thought process. They combine to make a productive, the person is productive in the money matters, and it is starting at a relatively early age. At this particular age, you would notice that the formation of the money line is pointing, and it's pointing towards three fingers: the Saturn, the Sun, and the Mercury. So these three planets are getting targeted, and what happens is it's something like energies or light penetrate the fingers, and they penetrate, and when they enter the palm, they're entering your life. And as they move forward, what happens is that accumulation takes place inside this triangle. So accumulation of wealth basically happens, and at a relatively younger age as well. But there's a negative aspect also we can see on this particular area, that although there's a money triangle, but at this particular moment of time, and the moment is, see, this intersection is 35, so this period could be around the age of 28, 29, 30. That's the approximate, and beyond that you would notice that a line is pointing towards the Mount of Mars, and Mars is basically anger, aggression, and fire. So what happens is your money is kind of getting burnt up. So but this this happens at an early age. This is not going to happen at a later age, but this might have happened at an early age. The person is 41 years of age. In the left hand as well, you would notice a beautiful line of Mercury, skills line, and a very good line of prominent line of Sun. You would notice these small lines that you see. These are very weak kind of lines. So these lines have got no meaning. See, some presence of many line doesn't mean you would have that many number of carriers, but weak lines means that you just might be thinking that you would do certain thing and it never happens. But a strong line means that you're giving energies to your work, you're energizing your work, and energizing your work basically makes your work more successful, because it is something like, imagine if there are no clouds in the sky and the sun is shining bright. So what's going to happen is that more sun energies is going to penetrate the earth, and the plants on earth they are going to grow much faster because of the sun energy. So same thing is happening. People who have got weak lines means that they are not able to energize their work, and they have got that clouded memory, clouded of area, that they don't know what they want to do, and it means having doubts. But having a strong line, and specifically after the age of 50, this is after the age of 53, so it means that the person is likely to be highly successful and highly productive even at an old age, when the person has got old. In my practical palmistry, see, what the book says is that, let's imagine they say that this is a sun line. So this age is, they would point out that this age is relative early 23, 24, this age is approximately 35, this age is 35, this is 44, and this is 53, and this is 53 and beyond. So you would notice that there's no line out here. So even if there's no line, it doesn't matter at all. You just need to have a strong line out here, and the person is going to be successful. It's it is not like that suddenly success is going to come to a person. It never happens. Suddenly nothing happens. You can basically win a lottery. I'm not talking about this particular hand. A person might win a lottery, but if they don't have the lines of skills, and even if they earn at 50 years of age or 60 years old, they wouldn't be able to manage that money well, and their life is going to be terrible. So don't think that only luck brings success. It is all the, if we are energizing our work, that basically brings more success. And having a strong sun line means very productive life even at an early age. Absence of the line doesn't mean that there is no career at an early age. It means that there could have been unlimited possibility even at an age the person is traveling in. Lastly, before I end this particular video, there's again a overlapping break in the heartline. Break in the heartline, see, and specifically under the finger of sun. The person should be careful as far as regarding their heart and their eyes. See, this is one part, but every time I see a break, I don't necessarily say that the person could have heart related issues. It could be something as well as, sometimes it could be an emotional breakdown, sometimes it could be a break in one's relationship, and specifically because it is under the finger of sun, it could be a break from your near and dear ones. It could also be it could also mean that. And break is generally not considered to be good. If I have to correlate your heart line to your career, so sometimes what happens is that if the line is coming and ending out here, so there could be the person abruptly ends his work. Abruptness comes to his life, and then the person starts another work. So if we have to look from the point of view of the work, it could mean that. So that's it for this particular video. I hope you like this particular. If you like this video, click on the like button and do subscribe to my channel. And before I end this video, I just repeat this thing in all my videos. Money line importance is just 15%, as you must have heard in my video that even the technical skills line, the Mercury line, the heart line, the head line, on all possible kind of lines, we can see success. It's not only the money line or the sun line. A saint once said, you do not need to go to an astrologer or palmist to know about your future because you already know your future. Present is a result of past. How will be my future? Future depends upon what you are doing in the present. What are we? We are product of our thoughts. So the thoughts that come to our mind are really important. You have to have good company. Even if you have got any negative signs on your palm, it doesn't matter, because if you are in the right company, they are going to save you from the wrong effects of wrong company, or they would stop you from going in the wrong direction. Thanks, bye, and take care.